But yeah, that kind of felt a little drawn out, and then everyone shows up at the end. I'm like, the fuck? This is before cell phone. I was like, oh, everyone's showing up. Because I think I started watching this, and I think Christy had come home.
Did she show up when everybody else started showing up too?
Yeah, she should,
like, whoa, what's happening here?
Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We are your hosts. I'm Jay.
I'm Cooper.
This is episode 80. This episode, we use our fortune to exact our revenge as we discuss the Count of Monte Cristo. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can listen to our entire episode library, comment on episodes, write to our email, all that good stuff. Plus, we're on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So if you enjoy the show, please leave a like or rate us or subscribe to us or whatever. If not, you don't have to listen, which is fine too. But also helps the show to find new listeners if you do that for us. So, but as always, thank you for listening and hope you enjoy it. So yeah, Matt's fired again.
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, no, the transition's complete. We
rotated them out.
Yeah. We kind of brought you in on the sly, and then
I like it.
Yeah, then we left him out. So no big deal there. So maybe he'll come back, maybe not. But yeah, he probably will. It'll be all right. Anyways,
we'll see.
The Count of Monte Cristo. God damn it, that's going to happen for this whole episode. So I think Matt brought up, but you had seen this movie before.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, because he had brought up discussing this because like he kind of considered like underrated or like kind of a hidden gem or whatever. But you said you saw this a couple times.
I've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
Did you see it when it came out?
No. It was probably a couple years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing it.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on it?
Overall, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit hard for me to get into in the beginning just because it's like you've got this innocent, wide-eyed kid who just really gets shit on left, right, and center for probably the first, 30 minutes of the movie. After he makes his escape, that's when I'm kind of more invested in it.
Yeah. I think overall, yeah, I think the movie's good. I would probably do, I think, probably 3.5 stars out of 5 or something.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, it's good. It's acted well. Guy Pearce has the worst fake teeth ever.
Not a fan of him in general.
No?
No.
I don't think people are in general,
which
is why he's not in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And when he is, he's typically
the
playing
bad guy.
Playing the bad guy. But he has that look like he should be huge.
Yeah.
Like, and it just kind of like missed. Like he was just missing.
He's just off center.
Something.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It's kind of slow to get going. But I did feel that it kind of. I know it's based on a book. It just kind of felt rushed at times. I felt like, or like they were just kind of skipping over things.
The timeline gets kind of condensed. You know what I mean? You get that. You don't get the feeling like, okay, this has been
16 years.
Exactly. It's like, and they do come whip them once a year just to say hey. But even with that, like it doesn't really give a good passage of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like maybe 4 or 5 years passed.
Yeah,
and that's about it. But no, I mean, overall, I thought that's good. Jim Caviezel does great, and Dumbledore makes an appearance. But yeah, I mean, it is a very classic hero's journey because you have the downfall, or you have the trajectory change of the main character, and then he meets the wise old man. And
the Yoda,
Yoda or Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's like very Star Wars. Of course, Star Wars was just based off of all of those old kind of tales, but this follows very much in line with that. Yeah. Have you read the book by Alexander Dumas?
Have not gotten around to it. No. Sorry,
I have not.
No insight there.
Yeah. So I have no, and I don't know. Maybe I felt like things were getting rushed because obviously they had to leave some stuff out of the book or whatever. But overall, I mean, the look of things, it was directed by Kevin Reynolds. You know what else he's done?
No.
He has done, he's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves,
Okay.
Waterworld.
Yeah. Big fan of Waterworld.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I want to say, might have been Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, or no, sorry, it was probably Waterworld. That him and Kevin Costner kind of got into it, and they kind of had a tiff for a while. But then they kind of got back together during the Hatfields and McCoys, which was like a mini series.
I saw part of that.
Yeah.
I think, it's been what, early 2000s, I think, is when that aired.
2012-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, not a lot of director credits after Waterworld. That kind of
I think.
I mean, he
blew his.
Yeah, he had 187, this movie, and then it was like only a handful between like them and then and now. But no, I mean, it's competently told. There's no discernible style from him or whatever, but I thought it was overall, I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a roller coaster at times as far as is he going to be able to pull this off? But
yeah, I think that would be the only, and they probably follow the book, but the only thing I think I would have changed is probably have more of like an Ocean's 11 style ending, to where like everything kind of falls into place at like the last moment.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I feel like that probably would have been a little bit better conclusion,
because we more or less see every step of the way.
Yeah.
So kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes is what you're saying, and then it all comes to light.
Yeah, behind the scenes, he keeps doing this stuff, and and you could tell he's getting revenge, but you just don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
And then everything just kind of like domino effects, and to where then everyone's left with dog shit at the end, and he's kind of sailing away with his baddie and his 24-year-old son.
Yeah. 16/24.
Yeah, 16. Yeah. But I mean, and again, it's probably because they took it off the book, but I think as far as telling it a movie, I feel like the ending would have been a little bit more satisfactory. At times it did feel kind of like a made-for-TV, like it just kind of had that look, like a PBS Masterpiece Theater a little bit.
Yeah.
Which isn't a
kind of tighter shots. We don't have a lot of money for extras or like set design and stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
But overall, I thought it was good. Yeah, like 3 out of 5. I mean,
yeah, I think that's a more than fair rating. Yeah.
My favorite part. What was your favorite part?
It was when Edmund and Luis Guzman. I don't know. I forget his character's name.
Yes,
in
Luis.
the movie.
Like as soon I saw his
first off,
name,
love him as an actor. I love everything he's in. I think he's great. He's hilarious. Jacopo is his character's name. But Jacopo is they're kind of discussing what's next in the plan, and Jacopo's like, "Look, I'll go up there, I'll kill everybody, I'll come back, we'll get some women, we'll get some booze, and we'll go spend some money." And and Edmund's like, no, we've got to do it this way. He's like, all right.
Suit yourself, guys.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I like Luis Guzman. When I saw his name in the credits, I was like, oh. And then I saw that he was like one of the bandits that when Edmund washed it on shore, and I was like, hopefully that's like not just a bit. And then he turns into like his sidekick,
into a character.
Like
yeah,
almost. And and I love that. Yeah, because anything that Luis Guzman's in, I feel like is just better. Yeah, partly because of him, but I feel like if he's in it, like he has a very good taste as far as the projects that he picks.
Yeah,
and so I mean, if he shows up in anything, I feel like okay, yeah, this is probably,
he only contributes to it. Yeah, he adds. Yeah.
So, but I really enjoyed the prison scene, or the prison sequence of like him learning and them digging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could have been, again, show the passage of time a little bit better, but I mean, I felt like they've crammed in a lot of stuff anyways within a 2-hour movie, because this is before doing 4-hour epics every other day.
Even if they would have just had like a little subtitle, like I don't know, 3 years later, or I don't know, something, because they do put the location at the bottom of the screen and stuff like that. And it's like if they could have just thrown that in there, it might have helped me a little bit, like as it's going, instead of after it's all said and done. It's like, oh shit, 16 years went by. It's like,
yeah, and they mentioned a little bit about it to where, oh, that'll take 8 years if we do it together, kind of a thing. And which, okay, but that'd be pretty good calculation. They didn't run into any rocks.
Any issue?
It only
they didn't have to go left and right. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I thought it was serviceable. I
mean, they had some swashbuckling in there.
Yeah.
You know, they had a good looking female lead. Yeah.
I thought the so when Edmund went back to see his old employer, and his granddaughter opened the door, and because he had said earlier, he's like, oh, I'm going to get revenge on everybody. I'm going to get revenge on Fernand, and I'm going to get revenge on Mercedes. And I was like, oh, shit, even his ex-fiance.
Right.
Oh, okay. I thought the granddaughter, when she opened the door, I was like, oh, she's kind of attractive, and
thought something would
I
happen
thought
with that,
was
maybe.
Going to be like
okay,
the new,
yeah,
because especially when the old employer said, oh, I thought of Edmund as a son, and I thought that was going to go the direction, but I was totally wrong on that, obviously. But so I thought that's what they were going to go that route. So that
which
was
almost
nice
would have made
surprise.
more sense, right? Like
a little bit
in his mind at that point.
We're back. Fucking audio. Okay. But yeah, thought it was going to go that route with the previous employer's daughter. But I mean, it's understandable since in his mind, he didn't
know anything. He didn't know, what had gone on in the background with her.
Yeah, because he'd get off the boat, like he after Napoleon gave him the letter, he gets off the boat, and then he sees his best friend. And his
basically trying to feel her up.
Yeah,
too.
feel her up, and like, come on, just let me put it in a little bit.
One time, that's what he said. Yeah, and she's just like, nah.
No, Ferdinand, no. So, which I kind of felt like, of course, Guy Pearce just kind of gives off that vibe.
Oh yeah,
that's like the shittiest
icky
friend.
Yeah,
ever.
For sure. Yeah,
and I was like, I'm surprised they're still friends that long. I feel like he would have fucked him over
a long time
before that.
Absolutely.
He would have just
would have gone and said, you're a merchant's son or something to that effect, and had been on his merry way. I mean, it's just kind of the spoiled brat, like, I only want your toy because you're playing with it. If you didn't have it, I wouldn't give a shit, and so that's why he's going after this girl. And as you find out later in the movie, he's had numerous affairs with her, or I don't know, behind her back. And to one point where he finally ends up, one of the women that he cheated with was married, and he had a duel with the husband, and he just goes out, shoots the husband, and comes home and is like, all right, well, I don't know. The guy shouldn't have found out. Pretty much, he blamed the husband for finding out or for figuring it out. It's like, well, you shouldn't have figured it out, because then I wouldn't have had to go shoot him.
Yeah. Total dick move.
Yeah.
But and I kind of like how they explained how the reason why, what's his name? The guy who was the prosecutor, and he had the father that was
that was a good
Napoleon. To where I was like, because I was sitting there, I was like, I feel like everyone's trying to get Guy Pearce laid with this chick.
Yeah.
Like, why would this guy give a shit?
Yeah.
And I like
you kind of find out it's a scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of a situation. Yeah.
So, because I mean the story is well thought out, obviously, since it was a book beforehand. But I feel like their friendship would have derailed a long time before that.
Yeah.
And even like him being captain, being made captain of the boat, I feel like, if nothing up to that point had disappointed Ferdinand yet, like holding the letter and not telling him, like, you kept the secret from me.
Well, why would Ferdinand care? Is my whole okay, he's made captain. Like he's a duke or a count or whatever. He's some form of branch of royalty. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, well, he's still not holding a candle to your level of
I was like, that guy doesn't
in society
have to work.
Yeah,
really. I mean, he probably needs some income, but I'm pretty sure he's rich enough he could just buy his own shipping company.
Again, I think it's one of those things that like I only want it because you've got it type of deal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given a shit, right? Yeah. He probably could have, like you said, he could have gone out, bought his own boat, been the captain. He didn't care to do that because, because Edmund didn't have it. Mm-hmm. But then once Edmund became captain, now all of a sudden
now he has ambition.
Now he wants it. Yeah.
That makes sense. Fucking Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Not the character. Not the character.
Not the character. Definitely
the actor. Absolutely.
Fucking piece of shit with his fake teeth.
Yeah.
Banging people, killing the husbands. It's horrible.
Yeah. Jeez.
Probably autobiographical.
Somebody should.
I know.
But he's probably like fits right into Hollywood. Yeah. No problem.
Meanwhile, he happens to listen to this. He's like, I live in England.
Yeah.
But what's your least favorite thing? Or what's something that you feel like you would change, if anything?
Like I was saying before, that the end is the beginning is hard for me to get into, just because it's like they're just shitting on this poor guy left, right, and center. But without that, you wouldn't have the story, the following story.
You wouldn't have the reason. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't like it, but it's a necessary evil for the story to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think mine would have been just having everything unravel at the end.
Yeah.
Just a little bit closer and tighter together.
Yeah.
Just to show either his cleverness and everything else like that, plus a little bit more detail as far as in mystery, as far as, okay, I know he's screwing him over, but what is he doing? And then it just kind of happens, and you're like, oh shit, that's kind of funny. That's really good. But again, the book, I guess. But
the last battle with
that felt a little drawn out for me.
Yeah.
And
because they were toe to toe, and then guy takes off on the horse. Mm-hmm. Coward, complete chicken shit. Has been throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, fuck it, face my fear. Now he wants to have a sword fight with somebody who's already kind of proven that he's
better at
a superior swordsman. Yeah, and it's like, well, why are you doing that? Like, I don't. It just doesn't make sense for his character, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he had he was kind of riding away, and he's like, the fuck am I doing?
I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, because he has no money at this point. He has,
because he's going to prison.
Yeah. He has no money. He has no family. To where I think it was just like, it
was like suicide by frenemy type deal.
That, or maybe again just the pride of
fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
But that kind of, I was like, wait, why is he stopping? That's the only thing I could think of is maybe he didn't have anything to live for, or he went back to his normal, fuck this guy. But that kind of felt a little drawn out, and then everyone shows up at the end. I'm like, the fuck, this is before I was like, oh, everyone's showing up. Because I think I started watching this, and I think Christy had come home, and I was still watching it, and she kind of caught, I think, the last third of it or whatever.
Did she show up when everybody else started showing up too?
Yeah,
whoa, what's happening here?
Mercedes shows up, Henry Cavill shows up, and then there's
they all just knew where they were.
Showed up, and then Christy came through the door. Yeah. My brother from Utah came over.
Oh, nice. Yeah, perfect.
He shows up. Abraham Lincoln drops out of the chimney. But the ending felt odd, but again, it's probably book.
The book probably made a lot more sense. Yeah.
Or they kept it in there because of the book or something like that. But it's, I don't know. From what I've seen online, a lot of people like this movie. and they say, "Oh, the best revenge story, best revenge story."
I mean, it's pretty good.
And yeah, I mean, it's
A bit elaborate for me, but good nonetheless.
yeah, and then a little too easy, at least how it's portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more in the book, but
Well, at one point, Edmund says, "Buy that bank. I want to own that bank by the end of the day," or something to that effect, so that they could call in all of Ferdinand's debts and cause him to go broke. And it's just like, oh, you just buy a bank, no big deal, cash. Here you go. I own your bank now.
yeah, it's almost. I mean, the only obstacle there was him getting out of prison or getting out of confinement or whatever. And but past that, it was just like
That was
here it is.
Held my breath that whole scene because they were giving him the 1, 2, 3 swing.
Oh yeah,
And he had that one split second to grab. Like, what if the guy had been a foot further away? Like, you're fucked. You're just going over the cliff now.
yeah. Which that's was it Michael Wincott? He was in The Crow. He was also in Nope recently.
Oh, I just watched that yesterday.
But yeah, you had Michael Wincott, who's kind of like the warden of the jail, which is always good to see him. But yeah, he played the cinematographer in Nope. Like,
okay.
Wanted to get the shot.
Yeah.
He had the really gravelly voice.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he was also in The Crow. He played like the main bad guy.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good to see him in it. But yeah, the guy standing like just a foot away. A lot of conveniences.
Yeah,
And,
it all just worked out.
Yeah. Which again, I'm sure it's explained better in the book, but we're talking about the movie, so
here we are.
So
That's
screw
all
it. But yeah, other than the prison break, I mean, that's like everything else was just kind of like downhill as far as a struggle for him from there. I mean, there was some emotional stuff, I guess, with him and Mercedes. But I mean, that was
the immediately after he, it's kind of coincidence that we were talking about the swinging him over the cliff, but immediately after that, he washes up on shore, and there's the pirates are there, and it's just like, okay, one knife fight. That's it.
Yep. Oh,
no big deal. And they're
then
just
I can
like,
save this guy's life.
They're pretty much like, you're in charge now. Like, you call the
They're
shots.
Like,
where do you want to get off the boat? Yeah, no problem. We'll curry you there. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Where I feel like in reality, of course, who knows? I've never been a pirate, but it'd just be like, oh, yeah, no, we're just gonna kill him and kill you again.
Or like, you're a slave now, so
start
swab the poop deck.
Yeah, swab the deck, swab the poop deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little, just too easy at times. Just didn't feel like it was that. I mean, but again, with the money.
Yeah, it's just kind of. I mean, it'd be like Jeff Bezos being like, "Buy that," and it's like, well, you
there
could
it
do
is.
it. Yeah,
and then
okay.
at that point, there would be like, I felt like, I mean, maybe that was it, to where it didn't feel like I didn't feel the satisfaction of it being earned, because it's just like one of those concepts to where if you had as much money as Jeff Bezos, or you were like the richest person in the world, would buying anything be fun, or would it? I mean, because there would be no struggle to get that reward.
Sure. And kind of circling back to what you were talking about earlier, without seeing that passage of time, the 16 years was really maybe a 10-minute clip in the movie. It doesn't feel like it's earned, so it's not that big of a deal to us. It was just, he was poor, okay, now he found his treasure, and now he pretty much does whatever he wants.
Yeah, and maybe that's it too, is to where we just, like, because everything feels so compressed, that maybe that's why the payoff at the end didn't feel as
gratifying.
as gratifying. Because there's other versions of the story I've seen has been like 2-part TV movies, so they're like 3 hours pretty much. If it was like an hour and a half each part or something, to where they could draw out the suffering a little bit more.
And by that time, we've seen them be extremely wealthy for much longer than we saw them be
in the prison.
Not, or in the prison, So it's a kind of an uneven, vantage point on this guy's life, you know.
And something else I enjoy is going back to Luis Guzman's character. He's not just like yeah, he's a sidekick. He's this Kato kind of, but he also knows what's best for Edmund and even tells him. He's like, hey, he seems like a good kid. He's like, he's trying to keep him, like, keep his head level.
Right.
But if there was one thing I felt like with Jim Caviezel's character, it never felt like he was going off the deep end.
Yeah.
Or like he was out of touch. He was always like...
He was laser focused on his goal.
He was always focused on it, but he never felt like he was straying at all, to where I feel like Luis Guzman's character was trying to keep him, like, his head in the game. Or like, I mean, I think he was trying to reel him back a little bit, like, hey, we don't really need to go this far kind of thing. But he knew the plan from the beginning, so I feel like they should have shown Ed Boon to like just really overreaching on some shit, to where
kind of trying to reel him back in, to
give Luis Guzman's character a little bit more agency as far as like, hey, come on, like he's like, oh, you're right, or something like that.
Sure,
some kind of moral, like his little Jiminy Cricket almost, But I did like how they had that in there for his character, and he wasn't just hanging out there to be his
henchman or whatever. Yeah. Definitely a more integral role than just driving the wagon.
Mm-hmm. So, well, anything else on?
That's all I've got.
That's all you got?
Yeah, I think you said 3.5 stars. I think that's right in line with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth watching if you haven't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely go watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. If you like revenge stories, you'll like it. Well, if you haven't seen it, you know how it ends, more or less.
It's not ruined though.
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it.
It's over 20 years old, so. But yeah, go watch it, and join us next time as we talk about 2023 as a whole. As we just pick our favorite things, worst things, as far as things that we watched. So till next time, Coop.
Till next time, Jay.